Hi, Moro. So, hi, KY. It's N2V. We're gonna get to the networking part in a bit. But I was sharing. It's not about building a portfolio. Moro, I was just sharing the story about how someone had a 25 million pound portfolio, and they were so highly leveraged. They were not making any money out of it. Okay. So imagine you spend or invest all your life building a portfolio and you don't make no money out of it. Okay. So it's not about building a portfolio worth 10, 20, 100 million. It's about building it the right way so you can make money out of it, so you could enjoy your life and spend time wherever and with whosoever you want. Okay. So for those who don't know, like I was sharing earlier, I'm sitting in Delhi. I've been here for nearly 7 months without a worry of having to pay my bills or enjoying my life. Okay. And the only reason I've been able to get to this point is purely because we built a portfolio that pays a decent passive income. So I never have to worry about paying my bills or worrying about everything else that life has to throw at us. Okay. But how do you really grow a portfolio in the right way? Okay. With high interest rates, a perceptive recession in UK. I always call it perceptive recession because it's never recession. It's more about perception. So people tend to spend less, which creates low cash flow in the economy, and it kind of leads to more problems and so on and so forth. It's just perceptive recession. Okay. So how do you create a portfolio that will allow you to enjoy your life? Sorry, could you mute yourself if you have noise behind you? All right, okay. So here is a few things that I'm going to share with you. Okay. So the first step is there are 3 levels and a few strategies that you can focus on. There are 3 levels. Level 1 is when you are the mechanic, okay, where you are physically doing the work as a skilled worker. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I used to be a finance broker. Okay. So that was my bread and butter. In fact, before that, I had a few other businesses. But, I was working as a finance broker. So I was actually doing applications and making money at the back of that. Then we started doing collaborations, and those applications get done by someone else. And then now I got to the manager level where I was managing a network and a bunch of properties behind the scene, as in the sense hotels. So we ended up taking a bunch of hotels for ourselves. We were managing them. So I was working as a manager. Now, I'm just telling you my property story at the moment, even though I've been in business for nearly 30 years. I'm 44 years old. I joined my family business when I was 14 years old. Okay. So I worked as a mechanic in my family business and then ended up in my own business and so on and so forth. I built another business, which I sold back in 2014, which was a chauffeur company. I built that company from scratch to 47 people, as in the sense drivers working for us, that I sold. And then I moved on to property business. I was an accidental landlord, started in 2003 and moved on from there. But worked as a mechanic, as in the sense you're physically swapping time for money. Okay. And then worked as a manager, as in the sense managing a bunch of properties, commercial properties, and then moved on to become a full-time investor. Okay. Now, unfortunately, if you are at the level of mechanic, you're swapping time for money. Even when you're a manager, to some extent, you're swapping time for money. Not a problem, Ram. You're swapping time for money. It's when you get to the investor level, you don't need to now swap time for money. You learn to leverage other people's money and or time to be able to grow your portfolio. But you might ask me, so how do I get to that level? Okay, so it's a gradual process. You need to start to zoom out from your existing role to becoming an investor. I'm going to share with you step by step how you can do that. Share with you the strategies that are most profitable at the moment, so you can see how that will apply to you. Okay. But like I said, you might ask me, so how do I act as an investor when I may not have a lot of money around, may not have contacts around me, or for that matter, I may not even have enough knowledge to grow my portfolio? Okay. That's a very genuine question. Okay. One thing I've realized is If let's say you're working as a manager or you're working as a mechanic, as in the sense you're, whatever job role you're working in, it's time to kind of zoom out. Let's say you work 40 hours or 50 hours or 60 hours, right? Every week, you would reduce 1 hour of that time, and then you take that time and invest it into property investment, learning the game as well as simultaneous execution. So it's not just about learning the game, it's simultaneous execution. If you just learn the game and not execute at the back of that, you're not really going to get a gist of it. Okay? So simultaneous execution. So there are two sides to property, as in the sense, two parts of property. One is being able to find the right deals, and the second is to be able to find investors. And I'll share with you both on how you can work. Okay? First aspect is finding deals. When you join us, we will show you how to find rent-to-HMO deals, quite profitable if you are starting out and you don't have lots of money. Let's say you have 10, maybe 20 grand to invest into property. You can pick up rent-to-HMO as a cash flow strategy, get to 10 grand a month with only 10, managing 10 properties. And if you, let's say, get to 20, which is not very difficult, someone like me, I can easily get to 20, 30 rent-to-HMO properties within a period of 12 months. I actually bought 4 hotels in under 12 months. Okay? So it's not very difficult. It's something I can show you within minutes. So you can actually have, let's say, 10 or 20 HMOs that you manage, rent-to-HMOs, and you can be making 20 grand a month pretty quickly in under 12 months. Okay? You can find rent-to-HMO deals through local councils' websites, landlord listing. This is public information. You can also find this information through LinkedIn Premium, and also by networking with the local landlords in your region, and or starting breakfast clubs, evening clubs. All of this is pretty easy to do. If let's say you have a little bit of money, let's say you have maybe 100 grand, you can then focus on flip deals. That means buying, rundown properties, doing them up and selling them. That's a very good strategy if you have 100 grand or more. If let's say you have in the region of 500,000 plus, or maybe even 300, 400 grand, you can actually do development deals, which are very profitable. But here is the very interesting bit, which I've shared many times, which is working on planning uplifts on the basis of option agreements, where you don't necessarily need a lot of money, but you can make lot of money at the back of that. To give you an example, we actually did a deal where we took an option agreement on a very large detached house. We took the option agreement for £1, agreed on the asset to complete within 24 months at 1.1 million. We applied for planning permission. We got planning permission for 8 units. That's 6 flats and 2 semis. We ended up selling the option agreement for 1.7 million. Our investment, 20 grand on legals, architects and planners, planning application, and we made 600 grand in profits. Okay? That's planning uplifts. Can you get there in 6 months? The answer is no. Learning planning uplifts game can take somewhere in the region of 2 to 3 years. Okay? If you work alongside us, you could do it quicker. Depends on how quick of a learner you are. Okay? So that's your strategic landscape in terms of how much money you have. Okay? So if you want immediate cash flow, don't have lots of money, you focus on rent-to-HMOs, not rent-to-rent. That's very saturated. I'm talking about rent-to-HMO, more sustainable cash flow. If you have a little bit of money, you focus on flips. And if you have a bit more money, you focus on developments. And when you get to a point of having, you get more experience in developments and conversions, that's when you can focus on planning uplifts as well. Okay, so like I said, that's your strategic landscape of how much money you have or resources you have and which strategy to focus on. Like I said, what still applies is either you're a mechanic, so you could be a bricklayer, you could be an electrician, you could still be doing the job behind the scene within these projects. That's your mechanic space, still managing these properties as in the sense of second level, and then still be working as an investor, raising external money, which we can show you how to do that, and leverage other people's money as well as time to become a full stack property investor. Okay, as in the sense property investor and developer. Okay, that's your basic eagle view landscape of where to focus and which are the most profitable strategies in terms of the economic conditions that we are in at the moment. Okay, now a lot of people come to me and say, look, high interest rates, development loans are, sort of 10% and so on. How do we make a profit from our development deal? You don't make a profit from a development deal if you just go into the market and pick up something that's on Zoopla, Rightmove, or a bunch of these property portals, okay, or your local agent. You make money when you find your own deals. But how do you find your own deals? When you learn how to use, the tools that are behind the scene, the likes of Nimbus Maps, Land Insight, Property Data, Labs.os. When you learn how to use these tools, and when you know what kind of deal you're looking for. Let me give you an example. Have you come across a situation where you came across this company that you'd never heard of before, and now once you came across this, you spoke with someone, now you go out and you see that company everywhere? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Please raise your hand if you know what I mean. Please switch on your cameras. It would be nice to see Andre here. Thank you. That company was always, good to see you, Natasha. That company was always there. It just wasn't in your consciousness. Are you with me? So when you realize that company exists, now you see it everywhere. Likewise, the deals are everywhere when you have the knowledge and the consciousness of where to look. All you will see is deals. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay, so I could walk with you. Let's say I'm in London, we meet, we go for a walk. Within an hour, I can promise you I will find you at least 4 to 5 deals. 1 hour walk, at least 4 to 5 deals. That's because I've been fortunate to go through the experience to be able to see where the deals are, okay, and then to be able to go and negotiate those deals. I can find those deals sitting on a laptop, but I can also find those deals while walking, while driving around, while speaking with people. When I see someone and they show me a deal, it takes me no more than 5 minutes to stand up and say, that's not a deal. Moro, I spoke with you this morning regarding a deal you had sent me. The airspace development?
Yes, I remember that.
What did I say? Paradoxical answer. I said it could be very profitable, but it's not the kind of deal I want to focus on, purely because too many challenges to face, and it's not where I want to focus. I have a better, easier way. That's right?
Yes, that's correct, yes.
So it doesn't take me no more than 5 minutes, but to be able to get to this point where you can see through a deal within 5 minutes, it's a journey of anywhere between 2 to 5 years. Okay? You're unfortunately not going to get there. I will always tell you everything the way it is. No sugarcoating, no nothing. Reality, on ground reality of what really happens. I have seen more people starting a property business and doing zero business. I would say my observation has been 8 out of 10 people that start a property business, either a sourcing business or a rent-to-rent business or development business or whatever, they do zero business behind the scene. Okay? And that's because they don't know where to look. They don't know how to negotiate deals. They don't know how to find investors. It's not rocket science. It's plain simple. You need to have enough interactions with people to be able to find investors. You need to have enough interactions with landlords and or investors to find deals. You need to have enough interactions with people who are sitting on large properties, derelict properties, people who are selling and don't know how to reach the full potential of a property. You need to just have enough interactions. Okay. And when I say interactions, the average is, if you look at 100 deals, you're likely to maybe find anywhere between 1 to 3 deals that are profitable. So you need to go through 100 deals to be able to get to a point where you actually find 1 or 2 or 3 deals which are potentially profitable. Okay. Is it an easy game? The answer is no. Is it a game that's worthwhile? The answer is a big, big yes. Because when you actually close a deal, I remember sharing this with some people out there that when I podcast and I'm doing YouTube videos, I shared like, look, I closed a 14 million pound deal, then I closed a 4.2 million pound deal, then I closed a 2.3 million pound deal, and so on and so forth. And I kept building my portfolio at the back of that. When I share that with people, it's almost like when you close a deal of a certain value, you get this adrenaline rush, which you get addicted to, which is a good thing, right? You want to get addicted to something that helps you grow in one or other phases of your life. But the point is to be able to get to a point, to be able to persist enough, to have the grit and the patience to learn the game and then close a deal. Please raise your hand if you know what I'm trying to say, because it's never easy. Okay. All right. Okay. It's about the patience and the grit of learning the game to be able to get to a point where you say, you know what, now I know how to close a deal. Okay. Either that deal pays you. There are times when I get one of my collaborations messaging me, say, in fact, I had one of my collaborators message me the other day, said, we closed this deal you introduced like a year ago. The commission is £98. Okay. But remember, all I did was generate a lead a year ago, and I made £98. Is £98 a lot of money? No. But when you learn the game and you do this every week, it eventually becomes compounded over the kind of effort you've put in for the rewards that you're getting. And now, at the back of that, we did a hotel deal, which I've shared earlier, but I want to share because there's new people here. I closed a hotel deal where my money investment, my personal money was zero. It was all investors' money. We ended up closing that deal. I ended up adding equity worth £250,000 into the deal. That deal is worth now £500,000. It brings in now rental income of 47 grand net in our pockets. Raise your hand if you'd like to close a deal which brings in 47 grand net money in your pocket. You don't have to share it with anyone. Okay. Again, I have shared this many, many times. Accept my apology to those who've heard me many times. But there's a reason I'm sharing this, because when you close deals like that, it changes your life. Now you don't have to think, okay, how am I going to pay £1,000 a week of my bills, right? Raise your hand if you know that I don't have to think about my bills. I don't, right? I've got passive rental income coming in. I've got questions being asked in the chat box. I will get to that part, okay? But being able to get to a point where you close deals like that and you think, okay, now I own an asset which is paying me that kind of money for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, okay? It's going to get passed on to my kids, right? If they don't mess it up, they could be making not 47, but maybe now 80 grand, maybe 20 years down the line or 30 years down the line, right? Increment in the rental income, right? Okay. But again, like I said, I shared with you the kind of money you need to be able to focus on, the kind of strategy. If you have little money, Rent-to-HMO. If you have a bit more money, flips. If you have a bit more money, then you focus on developments or conversions. And when you get to a point of more experience, you can focus on planning uplifts. At the same time, the 3 levels, where one is the mechanic level, the second is the manager level, and the third is the investors level. You do have to go through all 3 levels to be able to get the experience, to be able to get to a point where you now act as a pure investor in your life. Okay. That also gives you the time freedom, the money freedom, location freedom, and the freedom to spend time with the people that you love the most in your life. Okay? I'm going to go through everyone and ask questions, and then we can jump on to some strategies on how you can actually implement this in your life as well. Okay? So I'll go to the chat box. I think I had a couple of people ask questions. I have to jump. Can you get a lead for Rent-to-HMO deals by any chance? Yes, Grace. It's very easy to find Rent-to-HMO deals leads. It's public information. So people who have registered HMOs, their list is a public information. In most cases, in local council's website that you can download. And if it's not available there, all you need to do is email the local council, and they have to give it to you because it's public information. Okay. And when you download that list, or when you get that list from the local council, what you will observe is most of these landlords are, what I call the baby boomers, or rather they're called baby boomers, people who are like 60, 70 years old. They're tired landlords. They own multiple HMOs in the local region. And even if you can find 2 or 3 of these people to give you Rent-to-HMO deals, you could be easily sitting on 10, 20 HMOs that you could be managing and making 10, 20 grand a month practically managing these HMOs. Okay? I hope that answers your question. Hi, nice to meet you, Priya. That's Priya. Okay, so let's just jump on to planning uplifts. Okay? Now, one of the things that I'd like to share with everyone here is getting to planning uplifts is jumping the bandwagon. Okay, so you really need to go through the process of managing a bunch of properties to getting to a point where you do Rent-to-HMO, you do some flips, you do some conversions, you do a few developments, and that's when you get to planning uplift space. But if you're jumping this, what are we doing wrong here? Not wrong, but more like not the best way of doing it. Okay, if we are jumping steps, what tends to happen is you make mistakes. I call them learning curves. So you're practically speeding up the process to get to a point where you can focus on planning uplifts, but you still do have to go through the journey of learning all of these steps that you're trying to jump. Okay, which means all the compliance, all the regulations, all the planning policies, either local planning policies or national planning policies. Okay, so one of the things that you can do for yourself is, now note this down, please. If you want to speed up this process, you need to read about local as well as national planning policies. Okay, you can do that by going to the local council's website as well as .gov.uk. Okay, which means you're actually sitting down and reading some really boring stuff. Okay, but you do need to go through that process. Okay, because if you don't understand the basic compliance, the basic regulations, the basic sort of planning, local planning policies or national planning policies, it's just going to be a bit of a challenge. Okay, so you do need to sit down and read that. I do it all the time purely because it keeps changing and evolving and so on. So I keep an eye on what's changing and what's really happening behind the scene. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through the list and ask questions, and then I'll jump on to show you how we work on planning uplift deals. Okay, Con, do you have any questions? Colm, I can see you top of the list.
No, I'm okay, thanks.
All right, Tom. Ranjit, I can see you next in the list. Do you have any questions? Andre, do you have any questions? Ranjit might be driving or something.
I'm okay, thank you.
Mauro, do you have any questions?
No, Jack. Everything's clear. Thank you.
Sorry, can you hear me,
Grace?
Jack?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ranjit, now, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm
camera?
driving. That's why I wasn't
you realize that, Ranjit. Do you want to switch on your camera?
I think my only question is, which website would you recommend to find a tenants for renting your single rooms in an HMO situation.
Okay,
Can I answer,
so
Jack?
please do, Moro.
Ranjit, you can go to a website called Spare Room. That's
Spare
Spare
room.
Room.
Okay.
Yeah, Spare Room.
Okay.
It's the best one. There's many. You can use Open Rent. Open Rent is a
Okay.
good one. Open Rent allows you to also put your property on there. But the thing with Open Rent is you have to pay extra if you want to
Okay.
take your property just on Open Rent and add it to Rightmove, Zoopla, etc. But with Spare
Okay.
Room, because Spare Room is a website specifically for this kind of strategy, it's the best one.
Sure. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Moro. I will
That's
add
okay.
on to what Moro has just said. I remember putting a property up on Facebook Marketplace, Ranjit. I added some really good pictures.
Hmm.
I had 500 applications in 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Okay. Going back to what Moro just said, I am a premium paid member of Spare Room. Super effective.
Okay.
Okay. Just to add into that. Any more questions, Ranjit?
And do you get quality tenants, or obviously you need to go through your due diligence yourself?
Ranjit, you really need to kiss a few frogs on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Ranjit, the thing about Spare Room, Ranjit, just like Jack said, is you get all kinds of people. So the only way for you to know if a tenant's really good is when you do the viewing. I mean, there's
Hmm.
no other way. Like Jack said, you have to kiss a few frogs along the way because someone might look good on Spare Room, but then you meet them and you find out that they're not even working, or you find out that they want to they want to rent the room for an entire family. So it's many things.
And is there any agent who could do this, rather than, you doing all the legwork?
What's your location, Ranjit?
It's
Are you there? We'll wait for Ranjit to come back when we can hear him.
sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a UB5 area, Northolt.
UB5 is Middlesex.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I would know a few people, but he just reach out to me. I will introduce you. Not a problem.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Brilliant. Thank you, Jack.
Just have any more questions?
No, all clear. All clear.
Okay. So I'm gonna get to everyone. Just give me 1 sec. I want to share something very interesting. Okay. One of the aspects that I learned about business is creating a product or a service line which allows you to make 100 grand plus in each transaction. Okay, now that's not easy. Okay, planning uplifts is one of those products. You could walk away with anywhere between 100 grand all the way up to 1 million plus from a single deal. Okay, and the only way you can get to that point is by going through the journey step by step and having that patience. You're not going to close a planning uplift deal in 2 months. Okay, it's a long tail product which takes time to find, negotiate, and close at the back of that. Okay, so imagine if you started working today and focused on just planning uplifts, and you spent, let's say, or invested 2 or 3 years of your life, 3 years down the line or 2 years down the line, you now close one deal and it makes you £250,000. I'm talking about a really, I'm talking about a conservative figure here. Okay, so you could walk away with £500,000. Raise your hand if you would like to close one deal and walk away with £250,000. Okay, that's what planning uplift says. Okay, but I must insist it requires massive, as in the sense unlimited patience. There is way too many challenges. There's way too many things that go wrong. All of that is a part of the journey. Okay, but all it requires is main patience, focus, and grit. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, I'm going to go back to the list and ask questions, and we'll then jump on to me showing you how to focus on these deals. Grace, do you have any questions?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. Natasha, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions yet. Thank you.
I'm just going through the list. Sorry, guys. Priya, do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment, thank you.
Antavi, do you have any questions?
Not at the moment.
And then I think we had Khatija join us as well. Khatija, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
I know you joined just now, but what is the biggest challenge you have at the moment in property space?
Basically raising finance.
Raising external finance.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, I find that piece of the pie the easiest. Okay, here is an interesting perspective, Khatija. Let's say if you were sitting on 10 million pounds, okay?
Yes.
And I came to you and I said, Khadija, I've looked at this development deal. It requires £2 million and you can make 60% return on your money invested or 50% return on your money invested. Would you look at it?
Yes, I would.
So it's not about finding investors. It's about finding the right deal and proving the numbers before an investor says yes. Please tell me that you see where I'm going with this.
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. So Khadija, there is so much money out there. And I'm not just telling you like to motivate you or anything, okay? There's so much money out there. It's unbelievable. The challenge is not finding investors. In fact, Khadija, here is one that I can tell you, okay? So let's say you have a commercial deal, okay? Let's say you have a commercial deal. And you're looking for an investor that let's say you're looking for someone that might buy it for £5 million, okay? You walk into the city, as in London City, you go and network there for like a week. You'll be surprised how many people you'll meet that have a £5 million, £10 million pension. Raise your hand if you see where I'm going with this, guys. The average salary in London City of someone just hanging about and having a beer is about 100 grand, just shy of 100 grand. Okay. I was invited into an office, a corporate office, during COVID time. It was a team of 20 people. The person who was leading that team was making £1 million. The 19 other members were making £500,000 a year. That's a company close to Bank of England. Finding people like that takes about a week worth of networking in the city of London. Focused networking, evening clubs, morning clubs, breakfast clubs, doesn't really matter. But you gotta have the right deal. Why would someone give you the money if it's not really an awesome deal? Okay? And when it comes to raising finance, Khadija, one of the things that I always share is using the GROW model. If you've not seen these videos, please remind me and I will share those 7 days challenge videos with you. Within that, one of the days that I've shared is how to use GROW model to be able to raise external funding. It's really a coaching and persuasion model that you can use. Very structured way of questioning, very structured way of getting a yes from someone. Okay. I hope that helps, Khadija. Just ask me after the session, send me a WhatsApp message, and I'll be happy to share those 7 videos with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But again, like I said, it's finding investors, like I said, I find that easy is because I understand that it's not about money, it's about matching money with the right deal. When you have the right match, as in the sense the right deal, you're not going to find it very difficult. I am personally connected with family offices. Reach out to me. I'll look at the deal. I'll tell you if it's the right deal. I can easily match you. Like I said, not just connected to family offices, but some really people sitting on really, sort of 50, 100 million pound funds that I personally know. But they do look for the right deals. If you just come up to me and show me a deal that's already on the market, just been doing rounds, 20, 25% profit margin, they're not going to say yes. They can find these deals themselves. But if you come to me and say, okay, this is an awesome deal, I found this deal myself, I understand the depth of it, I understand all the numbers, we can potentially make 35, 40% profits on this deal. When you take that into a leveraged money, you almost double your money when it comes to a development deal, because you can leverage your development up to about 70%. So if you have, let's say, 35% profit margin, you're almost doubling your money because you're leveraged 2 times over. Raise your hand if you know what I mean by when I'm saying these numbers. Because you leverage 2 times, you leverage 70-30 on a development deal. If you're making 35%, you're practically literally doubling your money. That is your capital invested into a development deal. Okay. If you bring a deal like that, as long as the cost is over £1 million with 30-35% profit margin, I will find you an investor. I promise you, Khadija, on this. Okay.
Yes, that makes sense.
I hope that helps. But again, you might ask me, okay, how do I find deals like that? Stay with me. I promise you, I'll show you that as well. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right, guys. Okay, so I'm now going to jump on to, if you joined late, Khadija, you can watch the starting of this session. Very, very important. I've shared the strategies that you can focus on, as in the sense most profitable, depending on the kind of resources or the money you have, as well as, the 3 layers between that of acting as a mechanic, a manager, as well as a full stack investor. But you do need to watch that.
Okay.
Yeah, just watch that. So now I'm going to jump on to, how do we look for development deals and organic uplift deals, and how do we profit from them? Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Something very interesting happening in my journey. I want to share with, I feel like sharing with everyone. I've been nominated for an honorary doctorate by someone I've known for quite some time. So I've decided to accept that, which means that I'm going to have a doctor besides my name. That would be nice to have.
Nice one, Jack.
Thank you, Mauro.
Nice one.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have, because I think people perceptively start to take you a bit more
Congratulations,
seriously.
Jack.
Thank you, Grace. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, so yeah. Okay, I hope you can see my screen, guys. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, we
please
can.
raise your hand.
Yes, we can see
Okay,
you.
so guys, this is labs.os. I'll share the link of this portal in the chat box, so you have it, so you can use it for yourself. I've just shared the link of this tool that I'm using in the chat box. Please save it for yourself. So now that you can see my screen, does anyone want to give me a location you want me to check out? All right, guys, please raise your hand if you want to participate this with me, so we can pick a new location. Andre or Khadija, do you want to participate this with me?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
So I was saying, do you want to participate this with me, as in the sense, give me a location and I will show you how to find development deals and planning uplift deals.
Okay. Can we look at Hammersmith, London?
Hammersmith, sure. Yeah, that's a very highly congested area, but definitely a good location. In fact, a friend of mine is actually doing a project in Hammersmith as we speak, a development project, a very close friend. So just give me one sec, guys. Seems like I'm sharing screens to go off once. All right, can you see my screen, Khatija, and everyone?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so this is a link of a tool called labs.os. I'll share the link of this tool. It's basically an ordnance survey website. Okay. Now, if I zoom into Hammersmith, so guys, planning uplifts and developments are only profitable if the per square foot value of that region is at least as a bare minimum over £300. Okay. So the per square foot value of a new build or a newly renovated property is over £300. Please mute yourself if you have noise behind you. Is above £300. That's the only time that you can actually make a profit from a development or a flip deal or a planning uplift deal. Otherwise, if it's below that, you can't make a profit, purely because what you call the cost of the conversion or the cost of the build can actually be above £200 per square foot. Just give me one sec, guys. Someone's trying to join, and I now can't see. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna share the screen back again. All right, so I'm gonna zoom into Hammersmith, and we'll find live deals as we speak. That's Shepherd's Bush, and this is Hammersmith. Khadija, do you live in Hammersmith?
No, I don't.
Can I ask you, where do you live?
Yes, Edmonton.
You're in Edmonton. Okay. Okay. So now when I zoom in, can you see this is a very, very congested area?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can.
Yep. Okay. Now if you look at this area, this is Kensington Olympia. Let's go towards Hammersmith. This is Barnes, this is West Kensington, and this is Earl's Court. Is this area good, Khadija, to look at? Earl's Court?
Yeah, yes, it looks better than Hammersmith.
Yeah. Okay, you can even go further up, but I'll show you what the trick is to finding deals. Okay. Now, when you look at this, can you see this is Cromwell Crescent?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, can you see all of these? These are houses. And you can see the build area as well as the gardens, right?
Right, yes.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Now, can you see this garden lodge? It's either a hotel or a block of flats. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you see this house opposite the garden lodge? It's a really big house, massive garden with a very small build. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you think there is scope for extension or maybe extra units in the garden?
Well, yes.
There is access from the front as well as the back. So the back road is called Pembroke Road, and the front road or the back road is called Logan Place. Am I right?
Yes.
And it looks like it is number 31. So 29, 33, 31. And I don't know if this is Pembroke Road 31 or Logan Place 31. That's something you'll have to find out when you go to the local region. Are you with me?
Yes.
Can you see, I just found your deal that has the potential for either multiple units at the back in the garden, as well as, if not, then maybe potential to extend at the back, and probably into the loft, into the back and to the loft.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll through a bit more so I can show you a bit more. Okay, now across
Okay.
the road, can you see this is a corner property, number 48?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Can you see it's a big plot?
Yes, it is.
I think there's scope for an extra unit in this garden. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna go around in circles a bit just to see what's happening. Remember, this is a very dense area. It's not easy to find deals here. Okay. Okay, now can you see this property? Very interesting. Very interesting. Now this is called Pembroke Square. Can you see that, guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Pembroke Square. Can you see this property where my cursor is? This is a very large property. I'm gonna zoom in. Can you see that?
Oh, yes.
This number 1. In comparison to the rest of the properties, this is almost bigger than double the size, or at least double the size, yes?
Yes.
Do you think there's scope for flats, extra flats?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down a bit more. Go around in circles here just to see if I can spot. On the same road, I can see another property here, which is a bigger property in comparison. Highly congested area that is.
Yes, I see that now.
Highly congested area. Okay, here is a slightly interesting bit. I don't even know which road is this. Let's see which road is this. It's called Stevenage Road, and I can see really small houses here with really large gardens here. Can you see that?
Yes.
These two.
Yes.
And remember, because this is a very expensive area, one single deal means making £500,000 is a piece of cake. Yeah. So if you get one extra unit in the garden and you go and build a 3-bedroom semi or 3-bedroom bungalow at the back, you can sell it for £1 million. And the cost to build that would be no more than 300 grand. You could walk away with, £500,000 in profits very, very easily. Raise your hand if you know what I mean, if you know this area. Okay, here is a plot. I don't know what this might be. It says Broomhouse Road. And I can see this is number 23, this is 27, that means this is 25. I don't know what it is, but it's a really large plot. Are you with me, Khadija, on this?
Yes.
Okay, here's another one. Number 31. It's Stoke-on-Church Street. Look at the size of the property in comparison to the size of the house. Can you see that, number 31?
Yes. Yes.
I can actually, with Google Maps, I can actually measure the size of this plot as well. Okay? I would say this is probably more like 600, maybe 500 to 600 square meter plot. Okay?
Hmm.
Which is pretty big for development, especially in that region.
Mm.
There's another one, number 10, 11, Presford Road. All right, guys. Khadija, do you have any questions?
No, I haven't. I'm just gonna do some research.
All right. I just showed you, like literally you can go and look at this and find deals yourself. Okay, like if you approach, my experience is if you approach 100 people, the likely is that you'll be able to negotiate at least anywhere between 1 to 3 deals. Okay, if you have good negotiation skills. And that means if you agree an option agreement and apply for planning permission, get an extra unit or get extra multiple units, you sell that planning permission further, you don't develop it, you can walk away with quite decent money. Is it an easy process? No. Is it a quick process? No. But it's a process that's going to make you really good money as long as you know how to close these deals.
Makes sense.
Okay. Let me share with you something that not a lot of people tell you. Okay. A lot of people go into these training programs, right? And you might look at this and say, oh, well, this is a training program as well. Okay. A lot of people go into these training programs. Some of them people pay tens of thousands. I mean, I remember speaking with, someone about 4 years ago. I spoke with someone the other day as well. It was a couple of sessions that we did. I think it was like a month ago. And one of the ladies turned up and said, look, I've paid like 20 odd grand for trainings. And I remember speaking with another girl who paid 60 grand in trainings. And they'd never done a deal. The reason they don't do a deal is not because they don't have the knowledge. They don't do a deal because they don't have persuasion skills. If you don't know how to get a yes from a landlord, if you don't know how to get a yes from an agent, if you don't know how to get a yes from an investor, you're not going too far. You're not going too far. Learn to get a yes as fast as you can. And when an investor says yes, make sure that you get that money into your account so you could use it. When a landlord says yes, learn to get that agreement signed on that day, because that person might go home and get demotivated by someone in the family. Or a agent says yes, get that sales memo issued right away. Okay? It's about closing deals. You don't get paid to do the work, guys. You don't get paid to do the work. You get paid when you close deals. Outcome of your life is not dependent on the input. It's dependent on your persuasion skills. Okay? And when I provide trainings personally, my main focus always has been and will always remain is persuasion skills, leadership skills, and being able to get a yes. Because if you can't get a yes, like I said, you're just not going too far. Okay? Even if you get a small yes from a local landlord, He's got 5 HMOs. You jump on to 5 grand a month pretty quickly. Okay. I'll give you a very quick anecdote, right? A quick story. I've been trying to negotiate deals with this agent. He's got loads of properties in the region that I'm looking at. And my last email to the girl, and her name is Jackie, I'll share that with you. She's an estate agent. My last email to her was, if you're not prepared to negotiate a deal for me, by all means, unsubscribe me. Okay? And then she came back with a long message saying, I know it's not, I said to her, it's not personal, it's business. And she turned up and said, you know what, I know it's not personal, it's business. It's just that you've been putting some really low offers and I don't want to insult the landlords. And I turned up to her, I said, if I put an offer and if the landlord feels insulted, they really haven't learned the game of business. It's a buyer's market, it's not a seller's market. Okay. And if someone is in the market, they want to sell, they're likely, in many cases, probably desperate. Or maybe just don't know the what you call the economic cycle of the property, right? If they're in the market and they want to sell, what's the harm in putting a lower offer? I do it all the time. I have made loads of money by putting in cheeky offers. And when the agents don't want to negotiate with me, I move on. Okay? So when I wrote to her that you can by all means unsubscribe me, her reply was, when I come across a deal that might look desperate, I will ring you. Okay? And that's because I've already bought a deal from that estate agent. And then she knows I'm serious. She already knows how much money I'm sitting on to be able to find a deal. Okay? So she's thinking, okay, this guy is serious. He's sent me multiple emails on multiple deals. He's sitting on money. He's going to buy a deal. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay? It's a pull and push effect. It's not about being nice. It's a pull and push effect. Okay? In business, it's not about being nice. Okay? Yes, be humble and, do your job and, with all the right intentions. But it's not about being nice. It's a pull and push. That means you're pushing people, breaking their patterns so you could negotiate the deal. Okay? So learn your persuasion skills. Learn, as in the sense, really go out and practice your persuasion skills. Because like I said, I can show you all the tools in the world and all the tactics and tricks in the world. But if you don't practice persuasion skills and you don't get a yes from an investor when you need the money, or you don't get a yes from a landlord when you actually find a really awesome deal, even I can't help you. Even I can't help you. Okay? I can only help you to some extent. I can only guide you through the process. I can practice negotiation skills with you. I can practice persuasion skills with you, but I can't do your work. You really, on the ground, have to bleed and sweat yourself. Okay? And the more you do, the more you build that character, the more you build that resilience, the more you build what I call the skilling up of that financial freedom. Because financial freedom is not on paper. I shared earlier when I started the session that someone I came across had a 25 million pound portfolio making absolutely zero money purely because they were negatively leveraged. That's what I call skilling up and building your portfolio the right way. In a way where it pays you rather than you stressing about how the hell am I going to pay the mortgage. Okay? So when you find your own deals and you leverage on that planning uplift or that uplift in the value, you're always leveraged low because you've made that profit from the uplift. So now when even you hold the asset instead of selling it, you're so low leveraged, so you never have to worry about paying the mortgage. Instead, you're going to have a decent net income at the back of that because you've already uplifted the value massively. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Good stuff. Do you guys have any questions at this stage for me? I'm going to go through the list again, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Ranjit, do you have any questions?
Sorry, can you hear me, Jack?
I can hear you loud and clear, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm just still not at this stage. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Andre, do you have any questions? Okay. Colin, do you have any questions?
No, I'm okay. Thanks, Jack.
Grace, do you have any questions? Mauro, do you have any questions?
Jack, just a quick one. Can you remind me again what to say when we approach these people? When
Okay.
when we find
The
these
first
deals?
step is,
'Cause
okay. Okay, so Mauro, just try to reflect back if you can remember. How did you get in contact with me?
how did I go
Where
in
did you
contact?
find me the first time?
I found you the first time, Jack, when I was in HW Property Group. You kept posting that. From that, Jack, you invited people to jump onto Pen. So I jumped onto Pen. After jumping into Pen, you kept posting, and then you put the 7 days free trial, and then I came through that, and then through that, inner circle, partner. Yeah.
All right, so how many times have I invited in the group before you decided to jump on?
I don't have an exact number said, but Jack, but if I were to give it a number, I would say at least 10.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I post 1 million times. Okay.
Right.
So that's the first thing. Second is when you jumped on, somewhere you read about, okay, how to grow your portfolio, how to grow your passive income, so on and so forth. Now, it's about persuasion skills in writing.
Yes.
Okay. So persuasion skills, either verbal and or in writing, vital, important. But at the same time, when you spoke with me the first time, what was the interaction? Do you remember?
Yeah, just soft. How you doing? How are you? How can I help? That's it.
Right, guys. So just be yourself. When you approach someone cold, just be yourself, as in the sense as if you walked into a club and you are speaking with a girl or a guy. Okay? It's a bit of a pull and push effect. You build your rapport first. So tell me about yourself. My approach always is, in fact, literally every word that I say is based on the GROW model. The GROW model stands on G for goals, R for reality, O for opportunities, W for will. When I speak with someone, my first question always is, how are you? Why? Because I genuinely care. It's not something I do it because, oh, how are you? And I'm not listening. If you observe me, I'm always listening to every word someone says. Okay? But I'm genuinely asking, how are you as a human being? Right? How is life treating you? Genuinely, how is life treating you? Okay? Because some of it is in your hand, some may not be. And when you ask someone genuinely that, how are you? And they can feel that enthusiasm, or they can feel that care, their reply would be, yes, I'm fine, or I'm not too bad. The usual answer of, people in UK is, I'm not too bad. Okay? When you ask me, what do I say? In most cases, I say, I am fantastic.
Yes.
Okay? And the reason I say I'm fantastic is because they call it spelling, or whatever you say is how you feel physiologically, right? So if you have, say, I am fantastic today, you're probably likely creating a fantastic day ahead of you. So when you speak with someone, say, I am fantastic, and the next thing you ask is, so tell me what's happening on your end, or what's the challenge that you're facing at the moment, or you stay. So your question is based on when you approach people for planning uplifts, right?
Yeah, because you sent me the list, Jack. So I'm gonna go knock on the door.
So if I was you, I would knock the door and say, look, this is who I am. This is what we do. Okay. And I'd just like to know if you'd be willing to discuss about the potential of your property.
Right.
Willing to discuss the potential of your property. Okay. Now, if they say no, that's not a problem. No means no in that moment. It could be a yes tomorrow. So you can always go back a week later, a month later.
Right.
Things might change. Okay. I remember sharing with you, Moro, I think I've shared this many times, is I remember someone walking in, saying a no to me, joining at PEN, and but the man went out. Few minutes later, he comes back, I want to join. I said, what the hell changed in 5 minutes? Because I just had an argument with my missus. So now he wants to prove it to the missus. And remember, we are human emotional beings. So things change in our life. Our emotional status changes every minute. So don't be surprised that you get a no now and you get a yes a month later, a week later, a year later. Okay? So it's all about, remember, one of the important things that I learned is just acting a human, using the GROW model in your communication, as in the sense your questionings are based on, what is your challenge? What kind of challenges are you facing? Or would you like to know about the potential of your property? Do you think someone is going to say no? Someone walks to me, even if it's a cold person, looks professional, and wants to discuss the potential of my property, I might not bring that person in, but I'll walk out with that person and have a walk. Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, yes.
Okay. But these questions are based on the GROW model, which means I want to know what is the reality of that person. That's the R of the GROW. What is the goal of that person? What is it that that person wants to achieve? Most people don't understand planning. Most people don't understand developments. Most people don't understand extensions and so on and so forth. In fact, most people don't want the hassle of all of this. Okay? Our job is to help them reach their potential of their property, and they can make money out of it. We can make money out of it. Everyone wins. Okay? But your communication is based on the GROW model. Can you see, I always ask this, what is the biggest challenge you have in property space? That's a question I always ask. In fact, I asked it in the session. I think it was Khadija who entered and I said, what's the big challenge? Because she had not heard anything in the session. My first question to her was, what's the biggest challenge you're facing at the moment in the property industry? Okay. Where does that answer lead to? The reality of the person. Okay. And then my next question is, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years' time? Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years' time? The goal of that person. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Moro, there are times when you knock a door and they might just get rude to you. Walk away. That's okay. When someone gets rude to you, what happens? They have a problem with themselves, not with you.
Yeah. Because you just saw me. Yeah, they just saw me, so it can't be me. Yeah.
Okay. When someone is, I always say this in a funny way. If someone gives you a gift and you don't take it, who does it belong to?
The person who gave it, right?
Yeah. So if someone is swearing at you and you don't take it, who does it belong to?
Yeah, the person who's swearing, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. They are burning their blood. And yes, you occasionally do get people who just get rude for no reason. It's just because they have their own frustrations in their life. They're not rude with you. They are just being difficult with themselves. Okay. Just walk. Okay. But those who are prepared to listen, they will make money. Okay. Let's start. I hope that answers it. Remember, this is not a very, human communications are never clear cut.
Of course, yeah.
It's about when you approach someone, it's about their vibe, it's about your vibe. Let me tell you an instance of two different stories so you can see through a bit. I remember when I used to run the show for company, I walked into this hotel, and before me, one of my assistant, girl, had gone to get an appointment with the managing director, and she took an appointment for me. I went with her. When I walked in, for some reason, that managing director did not like me, just didn't like my face. Something about me she didn't like. So even though I had an appointment, she saw me from afar, and she turned up to the concierge and said, "Can you get that man to leave the building?"
Okay.
I didn't even speak a word. I have an appointment to see you. I walked in with a suit and a tie. I've not even moved or spoken with anyone, asked to leave the building. I know what happened. It was just a racist thing. But anyway, okay? But then, literally the same day, 2 hours later, we walked into another hotel. I met the concierge. 10 minutes later, we had the contract.
Right.
English guy. I'm the same person in the same suit, with the same skin, with the same tone, with the same vibe, with the same everything. 2 hours later, I get someone inviting me into their hotel and saying, you can provide us service. Okay. Likewise, it's happened with investors. I had someone say yes to me. The guy was sitting on 10 million pound. And then I have had times when I pitched to someone and they've turned up to me and said, you're stupid. Thinking, okay, that's fine. Thank you for your feedback. Okay. So you always get all ends of the game. Your job is to be persistent. Your job is to be patient and never, ever, ever be rude with them. Okay. Because people will remember you by how you make them feel. And if you're rude, they will remember you. But if you're polite, even if they were being rude, they might reflect back later and realize, I was just being rude and that person was still being polite. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get both ends of the tail, if I may say so. Okay. All right. I hope that answers your question to some extent.
It does. No, no,
Again,
it does.
All your communication, either it is written or verbal, needs to be based on the GROW model, as in the sense asking open questions, understanding where they are in their journey, where they want to be, and the opportunities that you bring along on the journey, as in the sense your knowledge, your understanding of the industry, and how you can implement by helping them reach potential of their property. In fact, in some cases, helping them reach their humanly full potential as well. Okay? Ranjit, so I'm going to go back and ask questions to see if anyone else has any questions, and that would be the session today.
Just an example, Jack. So say if you found a deal which is worth X amount, and which it's below market value, is there any way to raise a full finance on that without putting any deposit?
Only way is option agreements or delayed completion.
Okay, how would that work? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Okay, so delayed completions are when you walk in and say, you know what, I will complete on this deal. So there are 3-4 different ways of doing this. Okay, but I'm going to share with you 2 or 3 so you can see through it. Okay, so let's say someone wants to get rid of their property, as in the sense don't want to manage it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're not worried about having the money in account. Could be various reasons, tax reasons, their personal reasons, could be various reasons. Okay. In that case, you can go in and say, I will take a delayed completion from you or a lease option agreement. Okay. They're both the same things. What it means is that you will control the property for X number of years, could be 12 months, could be 5 years, could be 10 years. And 10 years down the line, or 5 years down the line, or 12 months down the line, you'll purchase that property. But it gives you the time to raise the money that you need while managing that property through various means. You can manage that property as an Airbnb. You can manage that property as a, giving standard ASTs or, whichever way you like. But you can make that money from the property, allowing you to raise that money later. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's your lease agreement and or delayed completion. Delayed completions work really well, 2 years gap, because it gives you 2 years of time to raise the deposit. So you can make money from the property itself to raise the deposit, and then you can be prepared 2 years down the line with a mortgage.
So does a lender accept a delayed completion scenario to lend you the money?
Yes, not all
Okay.
lenders, but most do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. And then if let's say you're working on a planning uplift deal, in that case, there's something called an option agreement. Option agreement works in a way where you approach a landlord, the guy does not understand planning, does not understand development, does not understand all of that. He can't be bothered, is probably a professional, doesn't have the time, want to work with you to reach the full potential of the property. Let's say the property is worth $1 million. You turn up to them and said, I'll give you $1 million. I'll also give you the profits from the planning uplift. Let's say you propose them 10%. Let's say the planning uplift is $500,000. They now walk away with 1.05 million, 50 grand extra in comparison to what they could if they were to give it to someone else. Okay. Hypothetical example for you. The way it works is that you sign an agreement where you now control the property. You will close on that property 2 years later. Normally 24 months is a good period for the planning application. Any shorter, sometimes it may not work and planning can take sometimes longer. 2 years later, let's say you get planning permission for an extra unit or multiple extra units or a major extension at the back and side and so on and so forth. And now the property is worth, with the planning uplift, 1.5 million. You don't develop it. You sell the option agreement to someone else, realizing the £500,000 profit without actually buying the property. You're selling the option agreement, and your only investment is the legals, architects, and planning.
Okay. Yeah.
And from that $500,000, you could share 10-20% with the landlord, depending on how you negotiate that deal.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah. The stuff. Any more questions, Andre Colm? Natasha, any questions? Khadija, any questions? I don't know who can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. I don't have any.
Yes, we can, Jack. Yes.
Okay. And any questions, Natasha, Khadija?
No, I don't have any questions. I've been making notes on the things that I would have asked. But yeah, I will follow you up later about the planning in my area.
Khadija, do you have any questions?
No, I haven't got any more at the moment. You've given me a lot to think about.
All right, thank you, Khadija. So just bear with me. I'm going to share something very interesting with you guys. Antavi, do you have any questions? Priya, do you have any questions? All right, guys. So I'm going to do something very interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna leave my number. So my WhatsApp number is 9667. So just give me a bit more feedback here, guys. Raise your hand if you learned something new, something interesting, something that you can go and implement in your property journey. Please raise your hand if you can see if you have learned something interesting. All right. I can see a few hands. Thank you.
I did. Sorry, I can't type. So yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, if you want to join me in this journey, a very exciting and interesting journey, send me a WhatsApp message and I'll share a link with you so you can join us in that journey. I can help you every step of the way, hold your hand and help you in the journey, guys. So you can see through us getting deals done together, working together every step of the way. I'll share that link with you and we can discuss. This is today's session. Have an absolutely amazing day. I'm going to do another session very, very soon where I'll share something else very interesting that I've not done in this session. But wait for that and we can work from that point onwards. Have an absolutely amazing evening, guys.
Thank you, Jack. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Jack.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.